morning, and how the devil are you? It is 22 minutes past 7, and you join me in the car and on my way to work, because today we're going to find out once and for all what's better when commuting to work, public transport or the car. Let me hand you over to Studio John, who's going to explain what the bobbins it's all about.
Thanks, John. In today's practical demonstration, we'll be comparing the journey times and costs between the car and public transport. In this instance, I'll be taking the bus. Now, obviously, I don't actually have a real day job, but the commute we'll be taking is inspired from the very commute I was forced to make every sodding day before I became a big internet superstar. The journey is little under 24 miles in the car, and on a good day, it should take about 35 minutes. In the morning rush hour, it's anyone's guess, but the most important thing is that I arrive at work on time. My shift starts at 8:30 a.m. and I left at 7:15. How are you getting on there, John?
I'm doing all right, actually. I was expecting to run into some traffic at the Chown Mills roundabout. If you're local to the area, you'll know all about that. But no, it was absolutely fine, and I sailed right through. I'm now just passing through the Wilby Way roundabout, which has a filter lane to the left. It's a little bit slow to get through, but you're generally always moving. However, I think I'm being led into a false sense of security. I'm a bit worried about a roundabout known as the Queen Eleanor roundabout, which is near at Northampton. We'll get to it in a bit. They're doing roadworks on that roundabout at the moment, and it's a complete catastrophe during rush hour. It was pretty bad beforehand, but at the moment it is especially bad. I'm hoping I don't get caught up there. We'll find out shortly. What the f*** are we doing here? Fuck me.
Very good. The reason I've chosen this route is because not only is it quite similar to the commute I used to do, I think it's a fair example of the sort of commute many of us would do. Sadly, very few of us have the luxury of living near to where we work, and whilst it's fun to dream of a world where we're all taking environmentally friendly public transport, the reality is that it's just not practical for many normal commutes. Or is it? I don't know. We'll be finding out a bit later on.
Well, I've just come up to the Queen Eleanor roundabout, and it is slow to get through because the traffic is being forced down into one lane, whereas before there were two. However, and I don't want to jinx anything yet, but it looks like I'm going to get through without any major problems. Public transport has got absolutely no chance. This is a waste of a time video. What a joy. That was an absolute treat. I don't remember this roundabout ever being that good at this sort of time in the morning. I don't know if you can see it on the other side of the road over there, but there's a lot of traffic coming that way. Well, at this rate, we'll be there in 2 minutes. We've got a few more roundabouts and bits of tomfoolery to get through, but so far, this has probably been one of the best commutes on this route I've ever done.
Great job, mate. Now, obviously, we're not heading to my actual previous place of employment. That'd just be weird, and they're mostly dicks anyway. Instead, I found somewhere to stand in as my workplace for the purpose of this experiment, and it's a Shell petrol station. Sorry, it's not very exciting, but I'm lazy and there's parking on site, but there's also a bus stop a very short distance away, so I think it's perfect to act as my place of work in this demonstration. Speaking of work, it looks like On the Road John is about to turn up.
Yes, indeed. I am arrive at work. Let me park up and I'll be right with you. Right, I'm here, and the big question is, did I make it to work on time? Yes, I even had time to get myself a coffee as well. We'll go through the numbers and data a little bit later on once we've done the exact same trip but using public transport. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for another lovely commute to work. It is about 25 past 5 in the morning, and I'm just on my way to the bus stop because, of course, we're getting the bus to work today. The fact that it's 25 past 5 should offer some sort of clue as to which is better when it comes to the car or public transport. Handy hint, it's not public transport. Oh, the bus stop. Oh, I found it. There it is. I guess I'll just stand here now and the bus will come along at some point. How's this going to work? Look, Range Rover in the bus stop. And these cars here all look, already I sound like a bus passenger, don't I? Jesus Christ. Though you might notice that there aren't any other people here at this bus stop. Well, two reasons. Firstly, they've all got jobs that start a lot later. And secondly, nobody wants to get the bus. And I think the bus comes at 5:30 8 or 5:39, maybe 5:36. I don't know what I'm doing. The bus is here, the bus is here, the bus is here. Quick, run, quick, go this way. You can't even stop in the bus stop. Hang on, let me put this down. Morning, buddies. How you doing? Well, this is exciting. It's a double-decker bus, and I'm sat right at the front at the top. Never done this before. Full marks to the bus company as well, because they turned up bang on time. Fair play. However, at this time in the morning, there isn't really any traffic to contend with, so it's quite easy to arrive on time with no traffic. I've got to go to Northampton bus station and swap onto a different bus in order to finish my journey. There isn't a direct bus route, unfortunately, so there's 2 buses today. Though so far I've only spent £3, so that's not too bad, is it? I still think it's less in diesel, but we'll come to that later. Sheep. The comfort of buses has definitely increased. Although don't take that as they are very comfortable, they're just better than they were. We're just coming up to the Chowns Mill roundabout, which you'll recall from yesterday's commute was quite easy to get around, and this morning, well, yeah, at this time I'm sort of expecting there to be no traffic, and yeah, looking pretty good. There's always a dickhead on the bus who has to have his phone speaker on, isn't there? It's just me and this one bloke at the moment. F***ing oblivious. Now I have come slightly more prepared than I perhaps normally would, because hiding in my Uncle Santa Jim definitely won't fix it magic bag down here. Hold on, I'm not prepared. I brought my own coffee from home in my travel mug. I'm a travel mug. Yep. Oh, I'm so glad I bought that. This is the first coffee today. It's just coming up to 6 a.m. I've been on the road, so to speak, for about 40 minutes. And I'm about 5 minutes from home. Literally, if I'd driven here, 5 minutes. I want buses to work. I want them to be good. They're just shit, aren't they? If we're going to listen to our phones on speaker, fine. And... God, I'm such a prick. I can't do it. I'm just embarrassed. 50 minutes and I'm still 5 minutes from home. Good. You know, I'd probably say there's only one thing worse than phones on buses, and it's the tinny sound of the 808 snare that you get through Apple iPhone buds, earphones and stuff. You know, you can just hear the snare line and the hi-hat, maybe if you're lucky. That, you know, you get that. Yeah, that's all you can hear. Nothing else. I don't know what's worse. I guess I'd rather listen to the full range song if I'm going to be forced to listen to it. But then at the same time, why can't I just turn the f***ing volume down? I don't get it. You know, it's 6 a.m. in the morning. I don't need trap right now. Okay, it's journey update time. I'm about an hour in. I left my house an hour ago. I've got a stopwatch counting the minutes, and I'm probably 15 minutes from home. So I'm not really sure what the point in any of this is. It's just a waste of time. Mind you, buses do meander around a bit, don't they? They never take a direct route, which is sort of understandable, but at the same time, why do we have express buses? That's what we need. I want to be able to go from point A to point B quickly and cheaply, which is exactly what I can do in the car. So why can't we do that with buses? Anyway, I'm just coming into Wellingborough, another mighty fine town of Northamptonshire. It's an absolute beaut. Not quite as good as Corby. Bus driver not using the bus lane there. Well done, dickhead. Just thought I'd show you some of the sights of Wellingborough real quick. The famous Betfred building. And a Chattel High Street. Check out this beauty of a building. Nice. Well, my 808 trap friend has left the bus to be replaced with female pop singer friend. And you know what that means. If we're going to play our music loudly on the bus, then here's a bit of Sepultura at 7:20 in the morning. If I don't like it, the rest of the bus won't either. Oh shit! Crashed into a tree. Anyway, I'm in Northampton now at least. I'm in the right town. Probably another 10 minutes, I think. Oh, that's nice. What can you hear on the bus right now? F***ing nothing. Good. Let's keep it that way. We're here! We're at Northampton bus station. So this is where I get off this bus and we go in search of another one. It is 23 minutes past 7. Cheers, drive. Well, I would say that was really stressful, but it wasn't really. I've been sat on my arse for the last couple of hours. Right, I'm at Northampton bus station. Great, I need to go and find the next bus stop, which isn't in the bus station, it's a few hundred yards down the road, because why would you have all of the buses interchanging at the bus station specifically designed for such a thing? I don't know. I'm just looking up Google Maps so I can find where I need to be. One moment, caller. Be right with you. Orientate. I need to go this way, guys. Right. Up this road and right, and then down the end there are some more bus stops where we can continue our journey. Right, after a short walk, I have found the correct bus stop. It's Bay 20, and we need the D3 bus, which will take us towards Daventry, although we'll be hopping off long before Daventry, thankfully. Bad news, though, looking at the times... Bad news, though, looking at the times, the bus is not due to arrive for another 31 minutes. Whilst we wait for the next bus, here's a fun game I thought we could play. I've just ordered one large cappuccino in the Macca's here. Let's see how long it takes them to make just one coffee. I don't know how you manage it, Macca's. That took 7 minutes, and I had to chase up the person on the counter to just turn around and hand me the beverage. I'm going to take my coffee and we're going to have a wander around the Northampton Market Square. We've got time, but apparently the local council spent millions of pounds regenerating it and making it much better, so I thought I'd go and see what the deal there is and if it was worth the costs. This is the same council that went bust a couple of years ago, as in bankrupt. Yes, the local council completely screwed it up and ran out of money completely. But at least they've got millions to spend on a few bits of pavement. And here it is, the multi-million-pound Northampton Market Square. Yep, I'm sure that was worth all of the money. Nobody can afford your council rents and rates. Therefore, nobody wants to set up shops. Unless you're a betting shop, a charity shop. Oh, there's a casino. I'm not wasting enough time. I'm trying. We've been to Macca's, we've had a look around the Market Square. Just put my coffee down there. Let's check the stopwatch and see how we're doing for our total commuting time so far. Gee, so far, 2 hours, 24 minutes is how long this commute has taken. And that is from me leaving the front door to getting to this point. And obviously we've still got a bit to go. Of course, some of you will be thinking, well, why don't you just move closer to work? Yeah, of course, that's how life works. You get to choose specifically where you want to live, and you then get to move into that house being able to afford it. This will be my delightful transportation for the next 20 or so minutes. We do need to get on, though. We're running out of time. I've got to be at work for 8:30. We're going to be cutting it fine, I suspect. Hello, mate. How are we doing? All right. Whedon Road roundabout, please, mate. Thank you, buddy. Cheers. Have a good one. See you. There's another double-decker. We're going to the top, straight to the top. Just go sit at the back like a bad man. Hi there. Yeah, the f*** is 1.5 meters. Ooh. That's very silly, isn't it? Right, bus number 2 of 2 for our commute this morning. This leg shouldn't be as long as the last one. I suspect we'll be on the bus for about 20-25 minutes. I hope so, because if we're not, we're going to be late for work. We are going to be cutting it fine, it's fair to say. I might even have to run once we get to the other end if we're to make it to work on time. We'll see. Hopefully that's not the case. We're nearly there. We're a few minutes away. I've moved down to the lower deck so I can make a quick run for it when the bus stops. Coming up to my stop now. Thank you, driver. Have a wonderful day. Right, quick, we've got to run because we're never going to make it. off, give the bus away. Bye, mate, bye. My work is just there, can you see it? I'm not running, but I am doing a fairly brisk walk, it's fair to say. We didn't just spend all that time travelling to be late. Hello, mate. I'm going to go to the exact same spot that I parked up yesterday, so it is as like for like a comparison as I can make it. I have just about made it to work in time using public transport. It's gone 8:28, so I have less than a minute and a half to get myself a coffee, if I so wish, which isn't going to happen. If this were a real work situation, I just need to get in there and start work. Okay, well, let me hand you over to Studio John, who's going to go through some of the numbers and the data, and we'll see which of these methods of commuting is the best solution.
All right then, having completed both journeys, let's compare the data, and let's start with how long each journey took. This was timed from the moment I stepped out the front door to the moment that I arrived at work, and in the car the commute took 37 minutes. I left at 7:15, arriving at 7:52, and this means I had 38 minutes to spare before starting work, which could have been time spent in bed. The bus, 3 hours 5 minutes. I left at 5:23, arriving at 8:28. Now for the costs, and in total the bus was £5.50. The problem with that is that it's only one way, so it's £11 a day in bus travel. The car can do 50 miles per gallon, and we only did 48 miles, meaning the fuel cost at the time of filming was about £6. To be fair, a monthly bus ticket saves a bit of money. That works out at about £8 a day, and if I'm super fair about it, if we factor in servicing and car running costs, it probably reduces the price difference in my situation. However, cheaper to run cars are available, and in any case, it's definitely not cheaper on the bus. What doesn't balance out is the time. Each journey on the bus is taking 2.46 hours longer. That's nearly 5 hours a day, or 25 hours in a working week. Not only that, you have to be up at 5 a.m. every day, and if you finish at 5:30 p.m, you won't be getting home until gone 8:30. And this is the whole problem and point of the video. We're constantly told how we need to get out of our cars and onto public transport, but as I've demonstrated, it's never going to happen when public transport is no cheaper and it takes that long to do what I think is a fairly normal commute. If you live in London, this video is probably not that relevant to you, I get that, but this is how it is in the rest of the country, and I don't even live in that remote an area. Have you heard of a place called Up North? They get 2.5 buses and a train every other Thursday, and that's it. Here's the thing, there are thousands of people going about their business every day, driving to work because they have to. Not because they want to. These are normal people who don't give a toss about cars. They just want whatever's quickest, cheapest and easiest, which is totally fair enough. But what if all of those people used public transport because it was quicker, cheaper and easier? All of a sudden it would free up quite a lot of space on the roads, and it's better for the environment. It also leaves the roads with more space for you, the car enthusiast who does 3,000 miles a year in your vintage Mustang. Anyway, to summarise, the car is still the better method of transportation, and public transport needs an awful lot of work before it's a viable option to use properly. Good luck with that. Fight me in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe and all that bollocks, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.